Liverpool fans, this is huge. Arne Slot's latest moves involving Salah and Van Dijk could reveal a massive Konate contract update. And that's not all. Jurgen Klopp has reportedly left the door open for a sensational Anfield return. We've also got big injury boosts, transfer twists involving Alisson, and fresh Real Madrid links in today's update. Make sure you hit that subscribe button right now for daily Liverpool news, and let's get into it. Arne Slot's Mo Salah and Virgil van Dijk actions hint at Ibrahima Konate contract update. Ibrahima Konate is in the final months of his deal at Liverpool, but the club are keen to offer him fresh terms. Arne Slot has hinted that Ibrahima Konate is close to signing a new Liverpool contract if his past comments about Mohamed Salah and Virgil van Dijk are anything to go by. The defender only has months left on his deal, but his exit is far from a formality yet. Liverpool are eager to tie the Frenchman down and have confirmed that discussions are in progress. In his press conference last week, Slot disclosed, "We are in talks with him, so that tells you what we want. It's clear we would like him to stay, but negotiations are ongoing, so let's see where that ends. We wouldn't be in negotiations if we didn't want him to stay." Real Madrid have been linked with a potential free transfer for the 26-year-old at the season's conclusion, although reports late last year indicated the La Liga Titans had contacted Liverpool directly to clarify they wouldn't be pursuing another high-profile Anfield acquisition following their interest in Trent Alexander-Arnold. Liverpool found themselves in a comparable predicament last year when both Mohamed Salah and Virgil van Dijk's contracts were due to expire at the season's end. However, Slot frequently declined to provide ongoing updates on the pair's negotiations until the deals were close. So, Slot openly discussing the club's desire to keep Konate may be telling. The Frenchman has experienced a mixed season, but has shown promise in recent fixtures, including in the 4-1 victory against Newcastle United late last month. Reds captain Virgil van Dijk, who will be 35 by time next season rolls around, has acknowledged he's eager for his defensive colleague to stay at the club beyond the season's conclusion. He said, "We are friends, we speak about everything. It's a process, and let's see what comes out of it. It's never that easy. We saw with my situation last year, so it's never that easy that we can just say, let's get it done. It's a process, and let's see what comes out of it. Obviously, I want him to stay. He's an important figure on the pitch. That's what everyone sees, but off the pitch as well. He's one of the leaders. He's outstanding, and in my eyes, a world-class center back." Given Van Dijk's age, Liverpool will no doubt be keen to keep hold of Konate. The Reds have, however, taken early measures to build a defense for the future, having spent big money on center backs Giovanni Leone and Jeremie in recent windows. Jurgen Klopp left the door open to sensational Liverpool return amid Red Bull quit rumors. Jurgen Klopp has yet to return to management after leaving Liverpool in 2024 and is currently with Red Bull. Jurgen Klopp has previously stated that Liverpool would be the only club he could manage if he were to make a Premier League comeback. The 58-year-old left the Reds in 2024 after nearly 9 years in charge. Klopp remains an immensely popular figure among Liverpool supporters, having led the club to Premier League and Champions League silverware. The German manager pointed to exhaustion as his motivation for leaving the club, with successor Arne Slot leading Liverpool to their second league title in the Premier League era in his first season. In January 2025, Klopp began a brand new role as head of global soccer for Red Bull, with several clubs under his watch. Recent claims in Austria suggested Red Bull wouldn't block Klopp if he opted to resume management duties, though these suggestions have subsequently been refuted. While Klopp has been associated with various positions since departing Anfield, he has indicated he's in no hurry to make any changes from his current post and return to the dugout. When questioned about whether he would ever return to English football, Klopp declined to entirely dismiss a Liverpool return, though don't expect to see him in charge of a rival. "I said I will never coach another team, a different team in England, so that means if then it's Liverpool. Yeah, theoretically it's possible," he told the Diary of a CEO podcast in October. "I'm 58. That means I could make the decision in a few years. I don't know. Do I have to make the decision today? Then I will not coach again. But thank God I don't have to do that. I can just see what the future brings."
When asked what might tempt him back into management, Klopp said, "I don't even know exactly. I love what I do right now, don't miss coaching, I don't miss standing in the rain for 2.5 or 3 hours, I don't miss going to press conferences 4 times, 3 times a week, or having 10, 12 interviews a week. I don't miss the dressing room as a dressing room, but sitting in a restaurant with the players having a chat, that's nice. We won a lot of games, so there was often a very good mood in the building. I still have Virgil's laugh in my ear, for example." Rumors in Austria pointed to Crystal Palace manager Oliver Glasner being earmarked as a potential successor to Klopp at Red Bull. However, CEO Oliver Mintzlaff has rubbished suggestions the company is dissatisfied with the work the Liverpool legend has delivered so far. "This is complete nonsense and completely plucked out of thin air," Mintzlaff stated. "On the contrary, we're extremely satisfied with the work Jurgen Klopp is doing. He invests a great deal of time and effort. He's in constant communication with our coaches and sporting directors and continues to develop our Red Bull football philosophy in a sustainable way. We are convinced that he's the right man for this job. That is where we're putting all our focus and energy." Klopp's current agreement with Red Bull extends until 2029. The German also reaffirmed his intentions to remain away from the dugout last month. "I expect not to change my mind, but I don't know. We're building a house right now, and my missus wanted to have a really big trophy room. There was another small room, and I said this is enough, because we know how many trophies we have. We will not add any. It might sound arrogant, but I know I can coach a football team, but I don't need to do it until my last day."
Liverpool sent Real Madrid transfer instruction to secure Alexis Allister perfect partner. Former Chelsea star Gus Poyet has told Liverpool which Real Madrid star would be perfect for them heading into the summer transfer window. Federico Valverde was once compared to Steven Gerrard, and now Liverpool have been told to sign the Real Madrid star. The midfielder has been a star for the La Liga Giants since joining them from Club Atlético Peñarol back in the summer of 2017. During his time at the Santiago Bernabéu, Valverde has won 3 La Ligas, 2 Champions Leagues, and 1 Copa del Rey. And even though the 27-year-old has given no indication that he wants to leave the Spanish capital this summer, former Chelsea and Tottenham Hotspur midfielder Gus Poyet would love to see the Reds make a move for the midfielder, as he believes he would be the perfect partner for Alexis Allister. "I would love to see Federico Valverde play in England," he told BetRight. "Since Fabinho left Liverpool, they've lacked a world-class box-to-box midfielder. Alexis Allister has shown his class this season, but he could use some defensive reinforcement alongside him and someone who can change the game at both ends of the pitch. Valverde operates all over the pitch, can run for 90 minutes, and has great ball distribution." It would be difficult for Liverpool to prize Valverde away from Real Madrid. He came through their second team and has risen through the ranks to become the brilliant player that he is now. Whether they could offer him an attractive enough deal to come to England, I'm not sure, but Liverpool need a Makelele-style player who can strengthen their core, and Valverde could be a great fit. Speaking during the summer, then Real head coach Xabi Alonso claimed Valverde was just like his former Liverpool teammate Gerrard. He said, "I see Fede in many places, like I did with Steven. But given the shape we have and the balance we need, starting from that slightly deeper position from the second line, that double number 6, he can arrive in the other area. He has that ability to accelerate through, to go through lines very easily and in 30 meters be there, in shooting positions. We are using him in that position, and it's working well. We know his qualities. We know that his best virtue is not receiving back to goal and turning, but to see the game in front of him and starting from a bit deeper than a forward, arrive. He has scored twice, and he has that ability to accelerate and get close to the area."
Liverpool given huge injury boost as Jeremie Frimpong returns to ease right-back crisis. Liverpool defender Jeremie Frimpong is closing in on a return to Premier League action. Jeremie Frimpong has given Liverpool a huge boost heading into Saturday's visit from West Ham United after returning to training on Thursday. The Netherlands international hasn't featured since he was forced off in the early stages of the 6-0 hammering of Karabag in the Champions League on January 28th. It was the third injury setback Frimpong has suffered since moving for £29 million in June from Bayer Leverkusen, with the versatile Dutchman also succumbing to hamstring issues in August and October. However, the defender has handed Arne Slot a timely boost after taking part in Thursday's session with his teammates at the AXA training center in Kirkby. Slot is currently without Connor Bradley, whose season was ended after a serious knee injury in the goalless draw with Arsenal in early January, and the Reds' boss has been made to field midfielders Dominic Szoboszlai, Curtis Jones, and Wataru Endo in the position due to Frimpong's absence. Szoboszlai has generally filled in for what has been Liverpool's problem position this term, but Japan captain Endo played around an hour at right back against Sunderland earlier this month before suffering what is now feared to be a broken ankle. Jones played on the right side of the back four of the recent 3-0 win over Brighton in the FA Cup and scored before switching with Szoboszlai midway through the first half of the 1-0 victory at Nottingham Forest last weekend. However, former Leverkusen man Frimpong is now back available for selection as the Reds look to make it 3 successive Premier League victories when the struggling Hammers visit Anfield. Young defender Amara Nallo also took part in the session alongside under-21s winger Kieran Morrison, who was on the bench for Sunday's win. Liverpool Champions League rematch confirmed after red card controversy. Liverpool now know which teams they could meet in the round of 16 and quarterfinals of the Champions League. Liverpool will face a rematch against either Atletico Madrid or Galatasaray in the Champions League round of 16 next month. The Reds faced the duo during the opening league stage, beating Atletico 3-2 at Anfield on the first matchday before losing 1-0 to Galatasaray in Istanbul a fortnight later. The Turkish side booked their place when surviving a major scare at Juventus in their playoff second leg on Wednesday evening. Having won 5-2 at home the previous week, Galatasaray were beaten 3-2 after extra time to eventually go through 7-5 on aggregate. Juventus were 3-0 ahead at the end of normal time, despite being reduced to 10 men when only 1 goal up 3 minutes into the second half after one-time Liverpool target Lloyd Kelly was controversially dismissed.
Juventus keen on Alisson, as Tottenham star could scupper summer transfer. Alisson Becker is being linked with a surprise return to Italy, with Juventus said to be looking at the Liverpool goalkeeper and other options from the Premier League. Alisson Becker could be eyed up for a return to Italy in the summer, with the Liverpool goalkeeper the subject of transfer interest from Juventus. The Brazil international has of course established himself as the Reds' #1 since making the move to Anfield from Roma in 2018, although he may well be approaching the end of his spell on Merseyside. Alisson's contract expires at the end of the season, although Liverpool has the option to extend it by a further year. The Reds, though, already look to be planning ahead, with Georgia international Georgi Mamardashvili having arrived from Valencia last summer after a deal was agreed the previous year. Although Liverpool is expected to take up the option on Alisson's contract, reports in Italy are suggesting he is being targeted for a move to Juventus in the summer. Gazzetta dello Sport claims that the Turin club is looking to the Premier League for a new goalkeeper, with current #1 Michele Di Gregorio coming under pressure for his position after recent mistakes. Alisson is therefore one of the options said to have been targeted, although Juve is also suggested to be looking at Tottenham's Guglielmo Vicario. AC Milan's Mike Maignan had also been considered before he signed a new contract at the San Siro. Juventus's plans could hinge on it qualifying for next season's Champions League, which it is far from assured of. Alisson has already addressed his future, having suggested last summer that he expects Liverpool to trigger the option to keep him for a further year, while revealing his plans to return to Brazil and boyhood club Internacional at some point. "I've never been able to plan long-term. Obviously now I have 1 year left on my contract and another year of club option, which they will probably exercise," Alisson said. "It's a decisive moment in my career, with a World Cup coming up. I want to be very focused. I don't want anything external to get in the way of that." Explaining his plans to return home, Alisson added, "I talked to athletes who have made this move to return. Some have had good experiences, others not. Each one will have their own experience, but I want to return, especially to Inter. I don't know when it will happen, but I still want to do it at a high level. That's what I have planned." Liverpool injury boost is coming, and it's perfect timing for Arne Slot. Liverpool could welcome back a couple of players from injury ahead of the weekend visit of West Ham in the Premier League, with the race for the Champions League spots heating up. Dominic Szoboszlai has done well there, and Curtis Jones filled in successfully in the FA Cup, but Liverpool has been without a proper right back for a few weeks now. Joe Gomez is another option, of course, but it was interesting that Arne Slot overlooked him against Nottingham Forest last weekend. Szoboszlai and Jones both had a go on that occasion, with mixed success. Heading into this weekend, though, Slot said a week ago that he was hopeful of having Jeremie Frimpong back, and even if the Dutchman isn't ready to play or to start, it shouldn't be long before he is seen again. Jeremie will not be involved against Nottingham Forest, Slot said last Thursday. We hope he will be involved next week against West Ham United if things go as planned. Slot also confirmed at the same time that Gomez was ready to start last weekend, but he opted in the end to play two midfielders in the fullback position instead. Regardless, Frimpong's return brings direct benefits, of course. He is a considerably more natural right back than the midfielders who have slotted in there while he has been absent, and had started to show his true ability level just before his latest setback. But arguably even more importantly, Liverpool needs as many options as it can get in the center of the field at the moment, where the likes of Alexis McAllister and Ryan Gravenberch have been toiling. Having Frimpong available again will mean the end of the Szoboszlai at right-back experiment. The Hungarian, when he is shifted away from the middle, is missed. Szoboszlai has arguably been the best player in the Premier League this season, but his best position, quite clearly, is in the middle. Liverpool can't afford to miss out on the quality he offers there, not least with its other options struggling. Equally, it should mean Jones is an extra option in the center, whether that is from the start or from the bench. He too can play right back, but is much better elsewhere. Though McAllister scored the winner last weekend, his performance was one that fell well below par. And though that is not purely an issue of a lack of energy in the middle of the pitch, McAllister and Gravenberch both looked in need of a rest at the City ground, even with the pair having just had a week to prepare. With Frimpong returning, Liverpool will feel the benefits at right back and elsewhere, and with some crucial and winnable fixtures coming up in the race for the Champions League places, the timing couldn't be better.